Hello, everyone. It is live at 1 p.m. and it is our last live broadcast. Everybody wave that's with me, right? It's our last live broadcast during the festival. We are going to continue with Live at 1 as we move forward throughout the year, as they're all looking at me now going, she didn't tell us this part. But we're going to continue our broadcast, but not daily. So today is our last daily broadcast. And we have a number of things. We are 6 hours to the end of the festival. 6, do you ready? 6 of it, right? You have 6 hours to access the Broadway On Demand streaming. So there's still 6 hours to catch 13 shows. You might have to pick and choose at this point, right? To get them all in there. Oh, Jessica has joined us too. We'll bring her in so she can wave and say hi. She's like, thanks for just dragging me on screen. We have a couple of things in this live broadcast that we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the schedule a little bit. We're going to talk to some of our Tempest volunteers and some of our Tempest people. We're going to celebrate the written word and the spoken word by sharing some poetry. We're going to look at a few videos, talk about costume parades, and what's still to go. So with that, turn on your mics if you haven't already, everybody that's up here with me, and just say hi. Let's start with a hello and tell them just who you are. And Elizabeth, who are you? Tell them a little bit about yourself. We're just going to kind of go through.
Who are you? Throwback to Alice last year. My name is Elizabeth Bagley. I just finished my second year at Penn State. I'm from State College, and I've been working with Tempest Productions for 8 years, behind the scenes, on stage, doing whatever Cynthia tells me to do.
All right, Steph. Go ahead, Elaine. Take over.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Oh, I was just going to say, I too am in the team, do whatever Cynthia says. I work at Penn State in the Music and Media, it's Music and Media Center, but it's the Music and Film Library. And do theater and chase my cat around the house.
Hey, how about Randy?
Hi, guys. My name's Randy, and I am here live from the South along Lake Pontchartrain in Madisonville, Louisiana. I work as a theater teacher and actor in the local community here across the lake. And I too just kind of go with the flow, and Cynthia just puts the information there, and I read it, and I go with it, and here I am. Good to be with you guys.
Great. And Jessica? Oh, turn your mic on, Jessica. Along the bottom of the screen there. No, that's okay. Jessica works for Penn State Press. She's well-versed in theatrical arts and literature, and is a great writer in and of herself, but also acts in the local theater. Thank you for joining us today, Jessica. We'll see if we can't square away your technical problems. It may be a volume thing on your computer as well. And I'm Elaine Meter-Wilgus. I am one of the co-founders of the Theater and Dance Fest and owner of Webster's Bookstore Cafe in downtown State College, and a lover of the arts and words. So thank you all for joining us today. And Cynthia's vanished. There she is.
She's back. All right. I'm going to have a little promotion here for our costume sidewalk parade. It is a bird. It is a plane. No, everybody, it is Supergirl. So Lori Wilson, isn't that great? Lori has been donning costumes for us and getting ready to invite you to join us for our costume sidewalk parade. So since we're virtual this year, what we want you to do is dress up in your favorite costumes, go outside while it is still beautiful out there before that rain hits tonight. Take some pictures, snap some pictures, do some selfies, and then post them on Facebook and with the hashtag Central PA Theater Costume. And this way we can find them and we can share them and we can have a big costume parade with everybody's pictures at the end this evening and share them next week as we reminisce about what a wonderful weekend we've all had. So, as we think about the spoken word, right, and we think about words and how much we love words, and once again, where can you find words? In books. I love books. And you can go to Webster's Bookstore Cafe. My husband will tell you how much I love books, right? We're going to talk about a couple writers and share some of their works today that we've lost this year and celebrate a couple other poets that are still with us. So, Elaine, introduce our first poet that we lost this year and talk a little bit about Mr. Ferlinghetti.
Sure.
Great.
Sure. Lawrence Ferlinghetti passed away in February, I believe, the 23rd, I believe, 22nd of February this past year. And he was iconic. And not only was he the owner of City Lights Bookstore in San Francisco, but also City Lights Publishing, and really instrumental as a beat poet himself, but also to bring forth the word of other beat authors and poets as well. He also translated, he wrote fiction, he wrote plays, art criticism, and narration for films as well. In other words, he makes all of us other bookstores look like really lazy people, but he really was iconic, and his words resonate still to this day, even though they're not necessarily about the same time period. But yeah, he was definitely a master of the written and spoken word. Lawrence Ferlinghetti, March 24th, 1919 to February 22nd, 2021.
Here's a few selections from A Coney Island of the Mind. This is from Coney Island of the Mind, Part 1. In Goya's greatest scenes, we seem to see the people of the world exactly at the moment when they first attained the title of suffering humanity. They writhe upon the page in a veritable rage of adversity, heaped up, groaning with babies and bayonets under cement skies in an abstract landscape of blasted trees, bent statues, bat wings, and beaked slippery giblets, cadavers and carnivorous cocks, and all the final hollering monsters of the imagination of disaster. They are so bloody real. It is if they really still existed. And they do. Only the landscape is changed. They still are ranged along the roads plagued by legionaries, false windmills, demented roosters. We are the same people, only further from home, on freeways 50 lanes wide, on a concrete continent spaced with bland billboards illustrating imbecile illusions of happiness. The scene shows fewer tumbrils, but more strung out citizens in painted cars. And they have strange license plates and engines that devour America. Part 12. One of those paintings that would not die, its wearing image, once conceived, would not have the leaded ground, no matter how many times he hounded it into oblivion. Painting over it did no good. It kept on coming through the wood and canvas. As it came, it cried at him a terrible bedtime song, where in each bed a grave, mined with unearthly alarm clocks, hollered horribly for lovers and sleepers. Don't let that horse eat that violin, cried Chagall's mother, but he kept right on painting and became famous and kept on painting the horse with violin in mouth. And when he finally finished it, he jumped upon the horse and rode away, waving the violin. And then with a low bow gave it to the first naked nude he ran across, and there were no strings attached. Dove sta amore? Where lies love? Dove sta amore? Here lies love. The ring, dove love in lyrical delight. Here love's hill song, love's true will song, love's low plain song, too sweet pain song in passages of night. Dove sta amore? Here lies love. The ring dove love. Dove sta amore? Here lies love. And this is the last bit here, Pictures from a Gone World. Sweet and various the woodlark who sings at the unbought gate, and yet how many wild beasts, how many mad in the civil thickets, holdering in his stone tower, or in that carpenter's house at Tübingen, or then Rimbaud in his nightmare and logic and sophism of madness. But we have our own more recent, who also fatally assume that some direct connection does not exist between language and reality, world and word, which is a laugh, if you ask me. I too have drunk and seen the spider. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you, Randy, for sharing that work. So if you're just joining us, this is our Live at 1. We're going to be giving you some updates about the festival and sharing some different written works with you. If you have been joining us for the first time today, or you've missed something from throughout the weekend, don't worry. You can find everything that's been live streamed on Central PA Theater and Dance Fest's Facebook page and YouTube page. On Facebook, you can find us at Central PA Theater and Dance Fest, and it is the same on YouTube. So I am going to be sharing some of the work from one of my favorite authors who we lost in this past year. Eric Carle was a German-American author, designer, and illustrator of children's books. He wrote The Grouchy Ladybug, Brown Bear, What Do You See?, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and many, many more. His first picture book was The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and it was published in 1969 and has been translated into more than 66 languages and sold more than 50 million copies worldwide. He has always been one of my favorite authors, so I'm going to read a section from The Grouchy Ladybug. One of the cool things about Eric Carle is that it's very informational. So at the beginning of the book, it says, aphids are very small insects. They suck the juice from leaves and then the leaves die. Ladybugs eat aphids. That's good for trees, shrubs, and other plants that have leaves. To the ladybugs, I've dedicated this book. 3 cheers for them. So you can see Eric Carle's, wonderful illustrations. It was night and some fireflies danced around the moon. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the sun came up. The ladybug flew from the left. He saw a leaf with many aphids on it and decided to have them for breakfast. But then a grouchy ladybug flew in from the right. It too saw the aphids and wanted them for breakfast. Good morning, said the friendly ladybug. Go away, shouted the grouchy ladybug. I want those aphids. We can share them, suggested the friendly ladybug. No, they're mine, all mine, screamed the grouchy ladybug. Or do you want to fight me for them? If you insist, answered the friendly ladybug sweetly. It looked the other bug straight in the eye. The grouchy ladybug stepped back. It looked less sure of itself. Or you're not big enough to fight me, it said. Then why don't you pick on somebody bigger? I'll do that, screeched the grouchy ladybug. I'll show you. It puffed itself up and flew off. And then as the rest of the book goes on, you can see the ladybug finds different animals of various sizes that it wants to fight. And it's all of Eric Carle's illustrations, and it teaches kids about time too. It's got clocks up in the corner, and there's a very cool fold-out surprise with the last animal. So go check out some of Eric Carle's wonderful works, including The Grouchy Ladybug.
Unmute, and there we go. So I thought I would read a piece from Mary Oliver, who we lost in 2019. One of the great things I've always thought about this festival is it gives people an opportunity to just come out and play, to join us and dress up in costume or read a Shakespeare sonnet later today. Plug. So I thought I would read for you Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees and the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Good afternoon, I'm Jim Colbert. I kind of gave up looking for a perfect festival poem, something tying in with acting or the festival or beautiful June days, and instead just picked with what brought me to poetry in the first place, reading something I liked. This is by Billy Collins, used book purchased at Webster's Bookstore, Webster's Books and Cafe. This is called Saturday Morning. I wonder if I have become smaller, or has the bedroom always been the size of a western state? The aspirin bottle is in the medicine cabinet 200 miles away, a 6-day ride, and my robe hangs from the closet door in another time zone. A strange circumstance for one who was a giant king last night in a principality of thimbles, where all money was smaller than dimes, and the flag over my castle displayed a flea. But no matter. The television is right next to the bed, and Donald Duck is taking his nephews ice skating.
Well, for those Shakespearean enthusiasts, I've written this little poem because I was trying to make up my mind about something. To shave or not to shave? To shave or not to shave? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler on the face to save the growth of outrageous needs to act, or to take blades against a skin so bare-ridden, and by doing end the look. To cut, to grow, no more, and by a cut to say we end the look. The heartache and the thousand natural shocks that friends do stare at. 'Tis a consummation, devoutly to be avoided. To shave, to keep some more, perchance to hope and glean. Aye, there's the rub. For in that shave of death, what more growth may come when we have shaved off this mortal curl? Please let me know. Have some respect and vote, and end the calamity of this hard choice in so short life. Thank you.
Are you as wild about Will as we are? If so, come join us at 2 o'clock for Shakespeare in Your Backyard. To be or not to be? That is the question. To come or not to come, I guess, is the real one for today. Come read a sonnet, recite a monologue, die a most dramatic death as you exit pursued by a bear. And above all else, remember, all of the world's a stage, and the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man or woman, in his or her time, plays many parts. Why read Shakespeare, thou might ask? We asketh it all the time. F. If you're a huge fan of Will, join us at 2 o'clock for a community reads all about Shakespeare.
I'm still Jim Colbert. And speaking of shameless self-promotion, at 3 o'clock, The Lyric Voice, I'll be interviewing singer-songwriter Rod Picott, and we'll talk about character development and story arcs, and also working in different genres, different medias. Rod is an accomplished singer-songwriter, many CDs out, but he also has a book of short stories, 2 books of poetry, and he's working on 2 novels simultaneously. So centralpatheater.com, The Lyric Voice at 3 o'clock. Look for you there.
Great. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for your contributions to the festival. The lyric voice has been an absolute joy to attach to the many goings on of the festival. So now we're going to take a moment and we're going to talk to our volunteers, some of the people that make the festival happen, and maybe they'll drop a hint how you yourself can get involved. Let's start with Jessica. Let's make sure and see if your mic is working now. How about it? I see your mouth moving. Okay, well, that's okay, Jessica. I won't put you on the spot by making you act out in an interpretive dance. You're the way that you volunteer for the festival. But we do appreciate you, Jessica. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us today. Let's go to Josephine, who coordinates and so lovely the playwriting festival readings of the winners. So, Josephine, tell us what it's like. What are you thinking about already for next year?
Oh my. It's a delight to get to read so many brand new, never produced pieces by playwrights from literally all over the world. One of our winners of the one act competition this year is from New Zealand, and it was just delightful to meet her. It was also delightful to hear Cynthia perform. She's amazing. We get to see Elaine perform sometimes and Cynthia sometimes, and it's always delightful. Looking forward to seeing how it goes and looking forward to being live, please. Although that does mean we won't have the opportunity unless we do some hybrid, which creatively will, I'm sure, happen.
Many of the artists involved that we've been talking to over the last couple months have said they're going to continue to do some sort of hybrid version in which this virtual world does allow them to do things differently. So yeah, we might be creative around that. That's a good idea, Josephine. Well, we want to. Go ahead.
It's been an unexpected positive piece of doing a table reading, where each actor can be basically in focus. And so we'll see how it goes.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you
guys again.
Thank you for all your hard work. That is no small feat. We had over 100 and I think it was 105 or 6 short plays submitted, and nearly 50 one-acts submitted for this year's festival, where, of course, the committee is many, many folks. And I believe, Stephanie, you've been involved. Probably Jessica's been involved. Certainly Cynthia is involved as well as Joe Wadsworth out in the New York, New Jersey component of Tempest Productions. But it takes a lot of work. So my recommendation to those of you watching is to go to centralpatheater.com and remember to sign up for the newsletter. You'll get information about how you can submit your plays for next year's playwriting competition, as well as how you can be a volunteer. And of course, that all important button where you can donate to help the festival run strong and proud for next year. One of the things I want to remind everybody too is that we celebrate just individual people, right? But we are we're a slice of life, right? None of us are, looking to make our move to Broadway in the next month, maybe in the audience, but we've got strong, powerful regional arts right here. And we bring in folks like Randy from New Orleans area. And we've got folks that come from New York and Virginia and all across the country to help with these productions. Another place you would like to go to Facebook and like Central PA Theater if you already Theater Invest if you haven't already, as well as Tempest Productions. Now let's take a moment and let's talk a little bit more with Randy. Randy, you've been coming up in person for the festival for the first 2 years, which was just absolutely wonderful, and now virtually for the last 2. You're a theater instructor, I understand, at a high school?
Yes. I work with Kenner Discovery High School, and it is located, I live across the lake now, so I have to travel over the lake every day to go to work. But it's a great school. I have a great group of kids. And we just finished, we did a couple of small productions this year. We did an arts festival, and we just finished up with a senior show, which the group of seniors that I had moving on, I'm going to miss them dearly, put together a show, sort of a farewell show that pretty much brought me to tears at the end of it. So, but I, as you said, I've been friends and knowing Cynthia since I wasn't even born since I knew her, but we go back, and when you all began the festival, Cynthia and I were in touch, and she invited me to come up. So it's been such a pleasure to, one to come up there as well, but also to be able to still do this online with you all. It's always a learning experience. It's always challenging. I'm counting down the hours. I'm not counting down the hours, because at 8:00 tonight, I'm going to be very sad that all this is over. So, and I was the same way last year and the year before when it was done, and I was driving away, and it's like, oh my God, I wish it's too short. It's too short. So Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. There's a name that keeps coming up. You might have noticed that Cynthia is imperative and the linchpin to the entire festival, as well as so much that happens in our local arts community. She's a powerful and productive member of the arts and education branch. She works with kids all across the region, and she doesn't get a lot of praise for that, because she does it because she is good at it, first of all, and also because she loves it and she sees the importance of it. But she doesn't really have a bullhorn to talk about all the amazing things she does. So on the count of three, I would like everyone on screen here to show Cynthia some love in whatever way you can. So 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Love you.
There's no doubt that this festival would not happen without Cynthia Mazan and her amazing energy, her love of people, of the theater, and her understanding that the arts, starting with literacy as with young people, it makes for a beautiful life. As I like to say, a life full of drama, and I mean that to be a good thing. So let's take a moment. Stephanie, anything you'd like to say? You've been involved in the festival since the beginning as well.
Yeah, I think one of the great things is we can bring professionals and amateurs or people who've just thought about doing theater, dance, or improv, or any of the wonderful things we do. The last time we were live, I had the privilege of taking the improv workshop with Amy McKay, and a couple of the people that took the class, they had always wanted to do improv, and that was their first opportunity to really learn, and to learn from Amy was so great. And they have gone on and they have not stopped doing improv since. So I love watching budding artists.
Yeah, right. And it's powerful because we do it in our lives, right? And this is a chance to celebrate what we sort of do all the time, but to come together and learn from each other. You're right, Stephanie, is beautiful. Elizabeth, I want to thank you for all of your T-Fest news. That's just adorable and also informative. I tune in because sometimes I don't even know what's going on. So thank you for that. You've been working with Cynthia, of course, since you were, I know, sorry, Elizabeth, we're always going to mention this. Even when you're old and wizened, we're still going to say, we've known you since you were, I believe, 12 years old.
Yep. I met Cynthia when I was in 6th grade. I just finished my 2nd year of college, so it's been 8 years. And you were talking earlier about the importance of words and literature and the theater with young audiences. Cynthia cast me as Brutus and Julius Caesar, and it was probably the most fun I had in 6th grade. I got to kill people. It was a great time. And Cynthia has just, introduced me to my Tempest family, all of you, who I'm so thankful to know, and 2, given me such a wonderful outlet to be creative. I've discovered an obsessive love of Edgar Allan Poe, but I also love doing Alice in Wonderland, which is the complete opposite side of a range, and just being able to connect with people and to find out different parts of yourself. I love theater, and it's never something that I want to do like full time. I'm not aiming for Broadway, as you said earlier, but it's just fun to do with people and connect and meet others and just express yourself in wonderful ways. And I love taking words from a page or out of a poet's mouth. And I've been so lucky in this past year to do a lot of like local people's work. So I did some of Mary's stuff for Accidents of Being, and I worked with Jim Sampson on his stuff. And I love being able to talk to the playwrights themselves and learn about it and take their words and bring it to life. Theater is just, it's one of my loves, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you.
Okay, now that we're all crying, that was wonderful, Elizabeth. Yeah, well said. So I'm in the glare. I can't see what my chat says. There she is. There, Cynthia.
So we think Jessica's mic is fixed. Is it
Hey.
fixed? Maybe by 7. Let's work on it so we get you in the 7 p.m. if you're still around.
There we go.
Okay. Guess what? We are down to 5.5 hours now till the end, but there's something happening either on the hour or on the half hour, and let's run that down. At 2 p.m., come join us for Shakespeare, and all levels. We don't care. This is not about being professional. This is about speaking those words. We're back to let's play with language, right? So bring a monologue, bring a sonnet, bring your books, right? Nothing has to be memorized. We're going to play with Shakespeare and listen to those words and share those words at 2 p.m. At 3 p.m., as Jim mentioned, the Lyric Voice. This is one of our last set of interviews. You can still catch the full concert of those 3 singer-songwriters who are just masterful writers themselves, okay? At 4 p.m., we will be sharing a video of Femme Fusion's poetry and the artwork that goes with that. So once again, Stacy Bird and the Art Alliance, thank you for inviting us in. Thank you for sharing that work. And we'll be taking a look at art and poetry together at 4 p.m. At 5 p.m., Randy, he can wave, and Elizabeth and Paul, who's not with us right now, will take over and have our last T-Fest news at 5 p.m. Tiara Williams will be sharing some of her extremely powerful and moving poetry at that 5 p.m. And if you didn't catch her at noon, you can go back and listen to her and listen to that broadcast. It's on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. At 5:30, it is time for everybody, and I mean that, everybody on there, everybody dance now. Come on.
Not awkward.
We finish. I know. We finish with the Modern Dance Challenge as Anne Van Kuren is like cringing out there going, oh, please don't let them all show up. Okay. But anyhow, we have our final dance challenge at 5:30 with Anne Van Kuren. And then it's 7 p.m. and it's time for the parting glass and time to end the festival. At 7 p.m., we start with Van Dance's premiere of the newest piece that they're working on. Anyone who shows up with us, right? Like our Tempest peeps, plus all of the companies that will be able to show up and join us on the broadcast, will say goodbye to the festival. And hopefully we'll see some of you in costume. Anyone want to add anything? All right, guess what? This is Live at 1 and our last broadcast for the festival. Here we go.
The Happy Valley Adventure Bureau would like to welcome everyone to the annual Central Pennsylvania Theater and Dance Fest.
Dad, I need to plug in.
Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. I'm Agent Chipper. This is Agent Friendly.
Headed somewhere fun today, folks?
Nope.
You leave me no choice but to write you a ticket to Happy Valley.
Here in Happy Valley.
There's a good time around every turn. An adventure waiting down every path.
All at an affordable price. Just another adventure?
Here in Happy Valley.
Thank you for joining us in this virtual event. We hope to welcome you to Happy Valley, Pennsylvania very soon. From the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau and happyvalley.com, we wish you a happy 2021 Central Pennsylvania Theater and Dance Festival.